What was people's reaction after?
I'm back. We back in business, Baltimore. We back in business, Baltimore. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. We got some good topics for y'all today, man. First of all, this the Let's Get To It show. And that's a tour with a you, because I always got you in mind. And if you don't mind, let me break it down for you, because you ain't never heard nothing like this before. And at the end of the day, it's all for you. It's really all for you. And y'all my go-getters. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And I am King Sound the Powerful, the biggest hater this side of Texas. I talk reckless. So if you want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Matter of fact, y'all can't handle the truth. Court is in session. Yeah, y'all. Today's Sunday. Fun day. You know, this that last day of work. Before you go to work, that last day of fun. And, I had a good week. I had a good week at work. I had a good week as far as my health. Well, I did have a little scare. But we're going to get to that. And it's been a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff been happening as far as current events and trending topics and stuff. And last week I put out a video, dealing with the situation that happened between the high school track stars. They was racing and, one struck the other one in the head. May have been intentional or inadvertent. That's probably, at this point, it might be up for a judge to decide, because I think felony misdemeanor charges, assault and battery charges were filed. And, I did that one. That was my first video that went up, y'all. That joint went up. I had a short that went up, some shorts, but this was my first long form video that went up. At right now is at 3,000 views. And that's the high school track star Baton and refuses to apologize. That's that one. So if y'all want to go check out that video, please do. Please do. Please do. Let me see. Let me go up in here and see what's going on. I'm just going right here. That way, turn this all the way down. Turn this all the way down. That way, I can see. Because usually I don't even be thinking about, if it's some comments. But I got that up just to see if it's some comments for me. Just to see. Ooh wee. Them lights got me cooking, and I had some ginger. Some ginger tea right now, make you sweat like tea. And I just wanted to do a recap. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell y'all about the topics I'm getting into today. Is the first one is going to be this follow-up on that track situation. Guess what, y'all? Somebody from their camp reached out to me. They was in the comments and stuff. And, they shared their insight. So I told them that I would get back to y'all. I would do a little recap. And I would, go ahead and express those sentiments they want to get out there. I don't think nobody got in touch with me from the people that was out Roanoke side of things. That was the girl that got hit. But I think somebody reached out for me from the people that was over in Portsmouth. That's a hop, skip, and a jump away from bad news, y'all. But yeah, I was going to deal with that. Then I was going to touch on the LeBron James and Stephen A situation, y'all. Man. That Jonah took on a life of his own, y'all. And it took on a life of his own. And hey, who you mad at? Who you side with, man? Because these days you got to pick sides. And you got to stay on your side of the fence, man. You can't straddle the fence no more, man. You got to be on this side or that side, or people going to look at you differently. They're going to look at you like, man, you not committing to what's going on. So, yeah, I wanted to touch on that. And I wanted to touch on, like, I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but, young Scooter passed away. I think Say So P, I think he rapped with Sauce Walker. I think he from Memphis. He wound out getting they deleted that man, and I think they stood over top of Sauce Walker, and woo, it's dangerous being a rapper these days, man. It's very dangerous. And I just wanted to get some input on that, talk about that, and see what's going on, man. It's dangerous out there for those who want to take on, rap is their occupation, man. That junk don't come with no hazard pay. No hazard pay, no insurance. They get insurance on you, but you ain't get no insurance. And I just wanted to talk about, man, just like the landscape of the internet, man, because most rap, the main platform for rap is like the internet. So it's like, why it's so dangerous? And I had my own opinions today. I talked to a few fellows of mine, content creators. I talked to Reese Neal. I talked to Mario Button. That's my main man, Scario. Button Boulevard, Mario Button. He got his own newsletter. He got his thing going on. Y'all tap in with him. He on all platforms. Mario Button, Button Boulevard. He do brand consulting. And a lot of times when y'all getting these topics that seem like they well put together, it's because I got him. And before I present stuff to y'all, I usually, present it to him and see what he think. And then we come up and we strategize and figure out a way how we gonna come at it, like the context we gonna speak on. So yeah, I also talked to C. Terrell Scott. That's Christopher Terrell Scott. He's C. Terrell Scott. I think his main platform is TikTok, but he on YouTube as well. And then I talked to Jamal Bryant. He's an up and coming comedian. He got a few things going on TikTok. He owe Jamal, and on YouTube, I want to say, I think he Jamal O'Brien or Jamal Bryan O. Y'all check him out. He not the pastor. He the young dude on his. I think his avatar got him with dreads on it. You can't miss him. But one of these, I'm gonna have a compile a list of everything I want to say and have everything kind of laid out for you so I could just read it on down. But yeah, he owe Jamal on TikTok. I think that's where he do his most content at right there. And matter of fact, he say he got some shows going on. Let me get to that. He got a show. I think I took a picture of the junk. Is in my photos, or is it in my text? There you go. Matter of fact, y'all, he gonna have a show coming up, and it's free. It's at Renee's Restaurant and Lounge. That's in Suffolk, Virginia, y'all. That's 156 West Washington Street, Suffolk, Virginia. It's at Renee's Restaurant and Lounge, and it's the Spring Breakdown Comedy Show. It's gonna have my main man Jamal Bryan up there. So if y'all want to, take your significant other or take a friend out or even go out by yourself, y'all go check that out. It starts at it start at 7 p.m. The show starts at 7:30. The doors open at 7. And again, that's Renee's Restaurant and Lounge, and that's in Suffolk, Virginia, 156 West Washington Street. Y'all go check him out, man. I'll be checking out his content on TikTok, man. He be having me rolling, man. And I got to go out there, chop it up with him, try to get an interview or something with him, connect with him, collaborate with him. And hopefully, y'all go check him out, check out his content, up and coming. Sometimes you got to catch a trend for a turn on one, y'all. And of course, I talked to my main man, Rob Gurley. We played football together. It's 3 of them. You got Joe. Well, Derek is the oldest, Joe, and then Rob, the baby boy. It was 3 of them. We all played for the Ferguson Mariners. Y'all don't know, that's a Newport News thing. That school is no longer here. They tore it down. Well, as a matter of fact, I think it's now the Ferguson Fine Arts Museum. It used to be Ferguson High School, and that's where we used to go. I think he was a few years younger than me. He was on the JV team, and I think he came up, and he was one of them special kids. He played in the 8th grade, played JV, y'all. He wasn't playing rec ball, pee wee ball. He was playing with the high schoolers. But yeah, I talked to him. You know, he got a little podcast going on. Him and Mike Vincent. That's another one of my childhood friends I grew up with. Played football with him. Matter of fact, we played the same positions. I think he played cornerback. We both was wide receivers, slots, anything. We was anything trying to get in the game at any time type players. And we used to be wearing Coach Reeman to death, man. Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game. But yeah, good guys there. They got a podcast together. I think they all got their own individual podcast, but together they got this one called Listening Pleasure. Listening Pleasure. I think it's on Facebook and YouTube, if I ain't mistaken. It's called Listening Pleasure Podcast. Y'all check them, all them little platforms that I just mentioned. Y'all go check it out. Y'all see I got this. Y'all see my lineup lined up. Y'all see I'm looking good. You know why I'm looking good? Because I was at Elite Pros. I ain't do my barbershop talk. You know, I be getting in there late sometime. Because I be going late. Because I be, you know, I got a little habit. I get the Food Line chicken, man. And you know, they don't drop the chicken at 12. So I don't want to go too early because it ain't no chicken. I don't want to wait till I leave out of there. So, I be delaying it. And sometimes when I get there too late, there's nobody in there. And I think, Eric, he was on his way to D.C. He was on his way to D.C. I think they was going to catch a game. Was they going? I think it was D.C. I think they was going to catch a game. The Washington Wizards, him and his wife, they was going to catch the Washington Wizards game. And I think Marvin, he was down there for his birthday, so so he probably, if not on his way back, he might be coming back tomorrow. But he came in. And he was like, yo, I'm on my way out the door. He was sad. He was like, man, I got you, I got you. So he went ahead and put me in there. That's Elite's Pro Barbershop. That's right there on 368 Demi Boulevard. Y'all go out there, check them out. Usually I get out there, I do my podcast. So if you want to come out there, slide through, I got my mobile set up. And, I just do the little barbershop talk. It's unfiltered. We talking about what's going on. We talking about our lives and we sharing. And it's like it ain't no script. We just get out there and do us. You got youngins in there. Mid-range youngins in there. You got old heads like me. And then you got old heads like my OG. That's Eric Davis, y'all. And it's 3 barbers in there. You got Eric Davis. Then you got Eric Davis' son. That's Moot. And then you got Ray up in there. And then you got somebody styling hair in the back. That's Connie. And, it's a good home feel. You go in there, kind of can relax, man. You around people that's, they all to the good. And it's like safe haven. Now, Miss Clara used to say safe haven, and I always kept that in my heart. You want to be somewhere where you feel safe and you feel comfortable. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Let me get back to what I had on the deck. My first topic, I wanted to do a follow-up. So when I'm gonna get straight to it, man. I'm gonna get into these comments, and I don't know. I'm gonna just read the comments. I'm gonna read a few of the comments. I ain't just gonna share their comments. I'm gonna read a few of the comments. Let me see, view all these giants. And matter of fact, let me just read through some of these comments, see what we got, man. Lentis Moten. He left a comment. What he say on his joint? He said, no matter the angle watched or her explanations, Stevie Wonder could see that this was 100% intentional. No accountability from her. I blame the parents. It was a lot of that going on, y'all. It was a lot of that going on. What's this? Alexia Griffin. It looks like she did that on purpose. Ooh. All right. Let me see what else going on. Angel Bunny. She cheated. Darcel. Poor girl. Let me see what else. Elaine Howard. Oh my God. Who else up here? Ratima. 9397. She said, did you hear the crowd's reaction? They know what they saw just like we know what we saw. Let me see. Let me see. I said, man, boy, there's a lot of stuff going on in here, man. All right. Let me see. LB Butterfly. If she just would have apologized, this would not have gotten so publicized. Even though she would have probably been banned from playing again, now she banned from the sport and embarrassed and may be going to jail. Oh, man, that's crazy. I don't know if she'll go to jail. And that would have misdemeanor assault and battery. I don't think they go that hard on you. And then she 18 and ain't like she a hardened criminal nowadays. So I don't know about that. But that's you see the sentiments of a lot of people. Robert Porian said, take a lie to test the test. You gonna fail. Hey, man, I'm reading a lot of this. I think they from Holland. Roberto Porian, he from Holland. Let me see. Linda Hamilton, she said, love, love, love your title. All right, let me see what else going on. SL123. And she looked directly at her head when she hit her and then turned to face the track. Oh, man, that's crazy. Oh, man. Cassandra Ware, 7603. Have watched this over and over. Really tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. However, she hit her, then lost her balance as claimed. She lost her balance because she broke stride hitting the other girl. And the biggest flag is if it was accidental, why didn't she stop to see if she was okay? It was very clear she was hurt, yet you didn't stop or pause at all. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Hey yo, there's some big boy comments in here. People ain't playing with you. People ain't playing. And you know, I'm gonna get into, like I said, I think I had somebody from their team reach out to me in these comments. I'm gonna get to that right now and just get a little take and not little take, you know, get a side of things and see what's going on. I wanted to read some of these other comments before I got in there. Let me see. Let me track it down. Let me track it down. Can I get to it? I don't see it now. I don't see it now. Oh, here we go. It's in this other stuff. Here we go. Oh, man, I don't see it. I don't see it. I just seen it, but now it's disappeared on me, homie. All right. At Stevie 586. Let me see if I could get to all this stuff right here. He had one long one. I ain't even gonna get to the super long ones, but I'm gonna just read Stevie comments because I wanted to get their side out there as much as could. And let me see what I got on. He says, FYI, the full stride ahead rule is an actual rule. The girl who alleges to be a victim was not allowed to cut in so close to her that she bumped her. She was supposed to be a full stride ahead to be that close to her. That's the rule. Both girls said they kept bumping arms. If they kept bumping arms, it is her fault because she was impeding the lane. That man was not a friend. He was from the USA track and field, someone who knows the official rules in this sport. That's what I keep trying to explain. She alleged victim is because of this all. I think the alleged victim is the cause of this all. Okay. Let me see if he has something else up there. And it said, the girl, I don't want to say her name, so I'm just going to say the young woman from IC Norcom from Portsmouth. It said she tried to apologize immediately. Look at the race and see where when the girl is falling, she is looking dead at her, running very slow and is clearly concerned. Then she immediately tried to run over to her after handing off, but people were surrounding her and her coach wouldn't let her go. Every single thing this girl is saying makes sense. How can she apologize if they won't let her? Also, we're in the USA. You know the rules. They have to filed criminal charges against this girl. They have filed criminal charges against this girl. You cannot apologize when you have criminal charges. Everyone knows that in U.S. law, it implies you are guilty, and they use that against you. Okay. Let me see, what was the last one? All right. This is a long one right here. It says, sorry, I meant to respond. I would love to come to your podcast, but unfortunately cannot for personal legal reasons. But I'm so passionate about this because folks keep saying they see what they see, but they do not see what they think they see, because that which looks like aggressive striking is really just a natural arm movement when running that fast and tripping. That's the confusing part. Also, people say the words that she said were get off. That just makes her look even better, because why would she say get off? Why would she say that if she were not being impeded? Get off what? If you listen to what both girls say and really pay attention to all the arm swings, it all goes perfectly with her statement. Her statements and the video evidence match up. The problem is folks think they see her aggressively striking her when she was falling. Ooh-wee. So y'all hear all that right. Y'all hear all that right. That's what's going on. That was somebody that was out of her camp. You know, I can't say for sure who it is. It's Stevie. And I wanted to express that because I wanted to get that side, because right now, you know, we on the outside looking in. Ooh, it's hot up in here, man. Make me sweat like tea. Let me get a sip of this right here, man. Try to cool myself off. I don't think that worked at all. But yeah, ooh-wee. It's warm. It's warm. But yeah, I just wanted to read some of them comments up in there. And then I want to read, you know, something from that other side, just to see what's going on, you know. I had to put it out there. I had to put it out there. Now, I'm going to give my recap of the situation. Because he's saying stuff like we see what we think is aggressive striking. And it's like, as you can see from the earlier comments, I think everybody was of the same mindset, you know. We seen what we saw. We wasn't mistaken in what we saw. We actually seen somebody get hit over the head. Like, you asking us to believe what y'all saying over what we seeing. This ain't something that we mistaken we seeing. This is something we seen with our own eyes, man. And like, you know, not just me. Everybody was looking at this stuff over and over and over again. Like, it won't know. We just seen it in passing. We got this stuff on every platform, and we running it back. And like, from what I seen, I seen slow motion cuts, you know, angles from behind, from the front, from the side, and all of them look like she cocked back like this. Waka. That's what it looked like that. So you gonna tell us that wasn't on purpose? Oh, and you know what? I'm from Virginia. I'm from Bad News. I'm from Newport News, Virginia. Portsmouth, right next door to us. You know, is right across the water. Portsmouth, right there. You know, we cut through Chesapeake, Suffolk, and we right there in Portsmouth. I see Norcom right there. You know, it ain't no more than 35, 40 minutes away from us. So that's home team. I don't mind giving up the benefit of the doubt. I don't mind. But it's like, okay, say it was unintentional. Say it was inadvertent. Like, you still looking bad to everybody. And it's like you getting the backlash because people don't see no remorse. And you know, I'm not no angel. But you know, they got a saying that say if you do the crime, you do the time. You know, you don't worry about the punishment if it's something that you did. I don't know if you understand or if people on your side understand. When you do something, you woman up a man up, whether it's intentional or not. Or you could try to duck behind, you know, whatever it is. You might sit there and be like, man, you know, we got this on our side. You might try to come up with a legal strategy and duck behind technicalities and stuff like that. But if you did it and you know somebody else was harmed from the situation, you know, what people are satisfied with, would it make people be on your side? Would it make people not, you know, take a stance against you? Is if you take accountability in a situation and you say, you know, I was at fault. That's not necessarily saying you did it intentionally. That's saying, I know I hit her. I hit her. It was inadvertent. And I would like to apologize. You know, I know a lot about the law. I done been in and out that courtroom so many times I ain't got enough fingers to count. You know, that's neither here nor there though. But what I do know is by you apologizing for something that you did inadvertently does not make you guilty. Because as you say, you did it inadvertently. It doesn't make you guilty for something you did inadvertently. It makes you have inadvertently hit somebody. And you know, you're 18 years old. You don't have a criminal record. There's no courtroom this side of Texas that's going to throw the book at you. They're going to evaluate. They're going to see that it's in a heat of combat sport or, you know, physical sport. It ain't, you know, boxing and nothing. But like track and field is real competitive and is real, you know, is a lot. Is a lot, man. Tension's real high when you mano a mano, you heads up, you going against somebody, you competing. So, you know, in the heat of the moment, whether it was averting or inadvertent, you know full well that you struck on the head. You said that yourself. So to still be on the defensive, even if it's a legal situation, you already have said, and I don't know what y'all strategy is in court. I don't want to sit here and assume. I would like to talk to somebody, man. If somebody came, you know, my ideas is, you know, even if you ain't want to have those type of discussions where we talking about the actual incident, we seen enough of that. I would like to have a discussion with a Layla and kind of, you know, get to find out who she was, to give people a different, you know, all we know is what we seen. We don't even know who she is, what type of grades she get. We don't know nothing about her. So all our formulation is, you know, everything we see is, you know, what's on the news feeds and what's online. And none of that is in her favor right now. So if somebody do want to reach out to me, leave a comment. You know, I'll follow up and try to find out how we can get in touch. And, you know, you see my setup. And, yeah, we can have we ain't got to be face to face. If you don't want to come to Newport News, we could, you know, I got the audio mix cast and you could just call in, have somebody call in and we could just find out, have a discussion. But, you know, I think everybody in the same mind frame outside of, you know, y'all team, y'all family, and y'all camp, man. People like, you know, why she ain't apologize? Because that, you know, that girl, she suffered a concussion. She could have CTE. You could have changed that girl's life. And, you know, it could have been worse. So people looking at that and they like, man, you still haven't issued no real apology. You still ain't say I'm sorry. You ain't say my bad. You know, I think your pops reached out and he said, you know, he apologized for you. But as you can see, the family and like The public, everybody wanna see that and wanna hear that apology, man. And it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Hey, y'all don't like the backlash. Yeah, people want to see y'all do the right thing. They don't want to see you, acting like you a victim. People don't want to see that. You crying. You crying like you the one that got hit on top of the head with the baton. And that's what's making people feel a certain way because, in this world, a lot of people get bullied. A lot of people get abused. And when they see stuff like that, it kind of put them in the headspace of, man, that could have been me or that was me. And you sitting up there saying, what about me? When it ain't about you. It's about the girl that got hit on the head with the baton. And you might not like that, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Unfortunately, those events happen. And, I got faith in you that you're going to bounce back from that. Because you young, you still on your way up. Just one of the ups and downs of life. But I'm still in the same mind state. I done walked it back as far as, I'm willing to give grace and say maybe it wasn't intentional, even though everything I seen points to be an intentional act. The swing, the way it look, it ain't look like no off balance. That thing look like a direct strike. Nothing short of intentional. But, we can't read somebody's mind. All we got is what we seen. But from what I seen, it looked like nasty work. It looked like nasty work. If you can't handle the truth, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm going to move on from that. If somebody from that camp or that, that family or that team over there, if y'all seeing this, reach out, leave a comment. We'll take it from there. I'll take it from there, and we'll get to we'll get to it. We'll get to it. That's what we'll do. And I ain't gonna keep beating that dead horse right there because I'm quite sure. I got 3,000 views on that video, and I'm Polar. I'm King Sam. I ain't academics or nothing like that. I ain't DJ Vlad. I'm King Sam. I got 3,000 views on that jump. That's good money. I'm in the algorithm. Y'all. So I just had to do a little follow up. Moving on from that topic, man, let me get into the LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith beef. Man, what's wrong with Stephen A, man? Stephen A Stephen A fraudulent, man. I already, like I said on my previous, podcast, my previous episode, man. I'm not a fan of Stephen A. I think Stephen A. Smith is an industry plant. Not saying he ain't work for what he got, but I think he speak the mind that don't represent the people that's watching. Or maybe it do. Maybe he doing it for a group of elite and they watching and he servicing them. Cause it don't sound like he for the people, man. He ain't for us. I want to, man, he claim he like us, but he always on the opposite end of the spectrum. When Jared Jones got a picture trying to stop the, people from going to school, he right there, Stephen A, making excuses for him. So it's like he keep being on the opposite side, like he talking greasy about Kyrie Irving. Now, he up here, he done said something about how LeBron James his parenting skills as far as why he put LeBron James Jr. in his position as if, it ain't like that man went number one. It ain't like Bronny went number one. Bronny was the 55th pick. Why is you so concerned with the 55th pick and you acting as if LeBron James is a bad parent because he wanted to play with his son? Like, I don't get where I don't even, Of course, Bronny James won't playing too good. So of course, you could point that out. But when you get to knocking the man about his parenting skills and you taking shots at this man, like that's uncalled for. And if somebody do pull up on you, you the one that keep claiming, pull up on me, I'm always at the game. You talking all loud like you you intimidating people, or somebody supposed to be like, oh, that's Stephen A, man. So, of course, everybody know, Stephen A had some words to say about LeBron James parenting and saying that why he putting Bronny James in this situation and it's too much pressure. And, LeBron pulled up on that man at the game in front of everybody and told him, man, he hit him with the Will Smith. Keep me and my son name out your mouth. Leave us out your conversations, man. And I think it was a few cuss words and expletives in there. And Stephen A looked shook. He looked shook. He ain't say nothing back. I seen that look several times before. I seen people run down on people. And that's the look that Stephen A had, like he got ran down on and he ain't want to do nothing to escalate the situation, because at the moment he wasn't prepared. He may have been surprised, but he looked shook. He looked shook. Ain't no side skipping in. That man looked shook. So I ain't gonna pull no punches on it. No matter what he talk about now, he looked shook. When it initially happened, he came out and apologized. And I guess, whoever in this corner was, they saying, you gotta straighten that out. So now he all over the internet. He on his show. He on Gilbert Arenas show, Gil's Arena, and he up there talking crazy and cussing and fussing like he wanted to say something and straighten it out. And yeah, now we need to get to the bottom of this. And then he even got so far as to say, if he would have touched me, I would have put hands on him. And it's like, that man ain't touch you. He ain't come to touch you. Why would you interject that type of jargon into a conversation where it won't no physical activity? And it's like, if you even felt like that, why you ain't expressed that then? Because like most of the people I know that'll take off on you, they don't need no time. They just, they get to the action and somebody pull up on them and they be like, man, what you talking about, man? Man, you better get out my face, man, before it get ugly in this joint. Before we turn up right now. Like, you ain't had none of that. And he talk about, he was there with some rich tycoons and billionaire friends and he ain't want to, but you ain't want to look bad, but now you talking greasy, so you still look bad. So, I can't take that as an excuse, man. I think all your activities is fraud. Like your behavior now, fraud. You talking like you want to fight or something, but when the man pulled up on you, you ain't had none of that energy, man. And, I've been in situations where, people pull up on you unexpectedly and you kind of like, yo, you ain't even... You defenseless in a situation, so you just keep it quiet, and you might feel like later on, like, man, he did this, but that's a discussion you have in private, like, man, because you look like a clown, you look like a buster, you look like a chump. If you talk about what you would have did, but when the time was at hand, when you should have did, you didn't do. You didn't do nothing. You let that man scream on you. And everybody know, LeBron James a big dude. If you was scared, you was scared. You was scared. It ain't the size of the dog. It's the size of the fight in the dog. So, if you was scared, you was scared. Ain't nothing shameful about being scared. If you was scared, say you was scared. What they say, if you scared, say you scared. Don't run around here after the fact, acting as if you ready to turn up now. Man, that's dead and gone. So, LeBron James, he came on the Pat McAfee show, and he just gave his take. And then Stephen A, I guess he upset because, Pat McAfee, that, he competition for Stephen A. And, LeBron James He took his talents to Pat McAfee. Not South Beach, but Pat McAfee. And it was a good interview, you know. People don't really hear him talk a lot, especially people don't see LeBron James cutting up like this a lot. He ain't never, since he been playing, which is 22 years, 20 years plus, we ain't never get this out of him. So obviously it rubbed him the wrong way. So, you know, he addressed the joint. He tried to, you know, I guess people in his team or his corner, you know, they try to reach out to you and like, man, ease up. But nah, you don't want to ease up. You want to keep your foot on the pedal. So when he pulled up on you, you ain't had nothing to say. Now you got all this, you know, say it with your chest in you. But you ain't say it with your chest when he was at you was I thought you was a French bulldog the way you was sitting down. You was standing up like you ain't want to move. You nod your head, yes. You should have had a tail, been wagging your tail, because you was shook. You was shook. And now you want to come out like you was, you know, beside yourself, and you cussing and fussing, and if you would have did this, I would have did that, but you ain't do nothing. So Stephen A, knock it off, man. Stop all the capping. You trying to turn this into something it ain't, man. That man was telling you, you know, keep it sports like, man. And you want to add the extra in. You can't get upset with that man because he disagreed with you and he wanted to have a discussion with you. You said it how you said it. He said what he said. Just leave it at that. And if you want to go further, you can go further because it's your platform. You can say what you want to say, but why act like you wanted some problems when you ain't want no problems? So, you know, I'm going to move on from that because I think Stephen A, you know, he a buster. He a sucker. And you can see he don't want no trouble unless the trouble over with. When the smoke settled, that's when he want to act like, yeah, I was going to do this. He one of them type of guys. You know, every neighborhood got him. After everything over and done, I would have did this and that. I was just finna do that. They lucky this ain't. Oh, man, knock it off. Be quiet. And, of course, I had this last topic because I don't know if everybody been keeping up. Man, it's been a lot of unfortunate passing going on, especially in the rap community, man. Especially in the rap community. We got, I think Say So P was unalive and deleted down in Memphis. He was with Sauce Walker. Sauce Walker, I think he from the Houston, Dallas, Texas area, somewhere up in there. You know, I ain't too familiar with a lot of his music. He's still kind of, I don't know if he independent or not, but he's still under the radar. He ain't one of your premier rappers, but, you know, he got a large presence on the internet. Sauce Walker went down there. That's his artist. And I don't know the full details. I don't want to get to speculating, but they got gunned down. Sauce Walker got shot in the leg. Say So P got smashed out there, John. And they stood over top of Sauce Walker, but they let him go once they recognized who he was. And, man, that's an unfortunate event. And it's like, man, is it dangerous being in the hip-hop stratosphere? Is it, man, you being to the culture that, you know, we call ours, and it's like, oh, my stars, man. A lot of people be getting themselves hurt. They going to jail. They getting themselves killed. They doing crazy things. And it's like, you know, is the hip-hop culture the most dangerous occupation you could have right now? Me, I don't really think so. I think a lot of people doing too much. You know, a lot of people, what they call it, they chasing clout. They doing the most for clout because, you know, you could get up on these platforms and you could just talk greasy and say the most outlandish things and confess and, you know, talk about some of these heinous crimes that's being committed out here. And, you know, people love to see, you know, the spectacular. They like to see and hear about some of these wild stories because, you know, the market is oversaturated. There's a lot of people online. So when you got a lot of stories, people might want something sensational. and people saying and doing the sensational things that's getting them in trouble. It's getting them in trouble, man. It's like people going to jail. You got the situation with Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby and all them out there. They just caught the little Rico. I don't know nothing about that, but I have seen Loose Cannon, I have seen Brick Baby come on that joint and talk real crazy, and it's like a lot of people, they ain't got no filter. Everything ain't meant for to be said on these platforms. Everybody ain't meant to be online. If you can't be kind of thoughtful about what you say, maybe you shouldn't be up here. If you would get up on this joint and your lips get to going crazy and you get to talking about a little bit of everything, like maybe YouTube, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok ain't the place for you. Like, why would you come up here and put yourself in harm's way? You out here beefing with your, people that's on the other side. You out here talking about crimes that's unsolved. You up here sparking up all types of chaos. You drawing that type of energy towards yourself. So it's like, man, I don't know if it's just the rap culture or the, hip hop culture is that dangerous. I would say no. What's dangerous is the activities that these people individually is participating. Like, y'all seen Tekashi running around here like, he was on top of the world and saying and doing and fussing and cussing and popping up out everybody's hood and going back and forth with people. And if you doing that type of stuff, how long you think that's gonna happen? You gonna get what you looking for. I had a judge tell me one time, you gonna get what you looking for. And that applies to this situation. You gonna get what your hand called for. You gonna get what your hand called for. If you out here playing spades and you ain't got no good hand, it ain't gonna turn out good for you. So it's like, if you out here doing everything you can and saying everything you can to get yourself caught up and put in a bad situation, you gonna get what you looking for. So that ain't necessarily got nothing to do with rap being dangerous. That's these people doing the most for clout. They call it clout chasing. People out here chasing that clout. They trying to go viral. I'm from Newport News, Virginia. We had a few dudes out here acting up, went viral, and what's the results of it? What they say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So it's like, if you out here smoking on somebody your homeboy just killed, you out here talking about this person and that person, you up here talking about crimes you committed that's unsolved, that's still within the statute of limitations. When the stuff start rolling downhill, when the ish start rolling downhill, man, you gonna get ishy. So it's like, man, I think people just got a little bit of stuff they need to work out, man. People they got some issues they need to work out as far as, staying in your lane. You stay in your lane, man. Like, you might be trying to go viral, and there's a lot of times, people doing this and doing that, trying to go viral, and it ain't even no money involved in it. It ain't no real money involved in it. Like, whatever you getting offline, YouTube ain't giving out no big checks. You can't move around how you want to if you are tagging as everybody. So you really can't move around and get no motion going, because soon as somebody see you, they on your top. So it's like, man, do the risk outweigh the reward in these situations? I think so. So, I just want to be like, man, y'all think about what y'all saying and doing when y'all get up here. Y'all on live, y'all doing interviews, talking crazy. You know, we could run down the list from the Lil Durks to the King Vons to the AR Abs to the Loose Cannons to the Brick Babies to the Takashis to the Young Gunners and Young Thugs, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it seemed like, you know, it's sensationalism at its best. You know, these the people that we tune in to. They talking crazy, they saying crazy stuff, they wilding out, and they screaming for attention. And sometimes, you know, they getting more than they can handle on the back end. And is it worth it? Because last time I checked, you know, near one of these guys, they they not in the position that they want to be in. And, you know, was it worth it? So with that, you know, I'm about to go ahead and shut it down. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all my go-getters. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And this is Let's Get To It. And that's a tour with a U, because I always got you in mind. So if you don't mind, let me break it down for you, because you ain't never seen nothing like this before. And at the end of the day, it's all for you. It's really all for you. And y'all know I'm King Sound the Powerful, the biggest hater this side of Texas. I talk reckless. So if you want the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God, y'all can't handle the truth. Court is adjourned. My case is closed. And I want to give a big shout out to a couple people. Matter of fact, y'all can't really see this. This Sunrise Kitchen, Bath, and Closets, man. They got 3 locations. One in Hampton on Mercury Boulevard, one in Chesapeake, and one in Virginia Beach. You know, they making the process of remodeling simple. They making the process of home remodeling simple. It's an easy thing. All you got to do is reach out for them. That Sunrise Kitchen, Bath, and Closets, man. And of course, I'm gonna give a shout out to 368 Demi Boulevard, Elise Pro Barbershop, man. And you know, if I missed you, I said a couple things and gave a couple shout outs earlier, but I'm about to tap out, y'all. I'm out of here. I ain't got no music to take us out with today, because I don't feel like queuing up nothing. But we had a good discussion, y'all. I'm out of here. 1.